at Juilliard, maybe inspiring professors or composition
I
teachers?
had two teachers in my 5 years there. I was for 2.5 years with Christopher Rouse, and then 2.5 years with John Corigliano. Very, very different teachers, very, very different composers. The great things about Christopher Rouse is that he was obsessed with knowing the rep. He's like a crazy know the rep person, and he gave these endless listening lists, and if you didn't know all of Nielsen's chamber music, he'd make you listen to it, and it seemed like kind of a joke sometimes because he'd have you listen to these obscure things, but then you realize actually that there is nothing that you can lose by spending a couple of days with the scores of all the sessions at symphonies.
Nothing to lose from
Nothing
that.
to lose.
Only gain.
I mean, it's time you won't get back at the end of your life, but it's you learn, even if the music is of questionable value. just the act of doing it is kind of great, and Rouse is amazing at steering you towards things that have solved a similar problem to what you're dealing with. And I remember he recommended me I don't remember what this was. It was some Orff cantata that wasn't even a recording of it. It wasn't like Catulli Carmina or like Trionfi. It was some other thing. It was some basically lesser Orff. And he had me scrounging around. I was in the library, like digging through these things, and I finally found some, a record of it and some score that was written on like toilet paper, and it was actually really great. And I was like, he made me listen to this because I am doing the same oscillation between these two chords, and that's how you do it. And I was like, it's genius. It was so useful. It was sort of like a scavenger hunt through the rep, and Lord have mercy, I've listened to now so much Marcel Poot. And it's like every obscure Dutch, like crazy person who ever wrote a string sextet. Corigliano was also great because he saw through my bullshit really quickly. he saw through my really obvious young composer problem, which was that I had a million great ideas and was really quick at writing them out, and my idea of how to write a piece was like putting all those things in a row. Which is not a piece. It's actually just ideas in a row. It's like tapas, do you know what I mean? But Corigliano was great because he was like, okay, that's cool, like all this is great, but a piece actually, like what a piece does is a different thing. And a piece has to have this emotional landscape and this emotional journey, and it has to, what I love about him is that he is so unabashedly devoted to the principle that a piece unfolds in time and has a very specific emotional itinerary. And this is kind of a romantic idea, but it's actually a really useful one, because what it means is that you can draw out your pieces and figure out what they're doing. And a lot of the music that I like, I mean, that trick doesn't really even apply to, I don't think, Renaissance music or to like Philip Glass or to the minimalists and to the early church music. But for me, as it turns out, it was actually a really useful thing because, to get out of that problem, which so many young composers have, and which I still have, of, I have a jillion ideas and they're really awesome. And now I'm just going to I'll alphabetize them and throw them on the page and send off the score. So he really got me in shape with that stuff. And that I still every day do his techniques and just map out a piece, make the flight map.
So you'll start off mapping out a piece graphically.
Yeah, totally. I mean, my music is so simple. Sometimes it's just a straight line. It's like, but even then, what's going on.
And then you reference back to this.
Oh yeah, I tape it up on the thing, or I scan it and stick it in my iPad. Like I'm totally devoted to it. I mean, it's kind of insane, but I find it incredibly useful.